Hi everyone, today we're gonna learn how to identify the vertex, the maximum or minimum axis of symmetry from a graph. So we have this graph right here. This is a parabola. We also call this a quadratic function. So the first question is to determine the vertex of the graph. But first we have to know what vertex means. Vertex represent is the lowest or highest point in the graph where the two lines meet, which be located in the center of the parabola, which it will be in this part. But in order for you to determine what if it is the lowest, the highest point, what we have to remember is the shape of the parabola. So when the parabola opens upward, it means that it will have a low point. So when it opens downward, it's gonna look like this. It means I have a highest. It represents a less than 0, and when it opens upward, a is greater than 0. Another way to remember is when it opens upward, it means that it looks like the letter U. When it opens downward, it means that it looks like an N. So the graph that we have here, it opens upward because of the shape. It looks like a U. So the vertex will be in the center, in the lowest point in this graph. So it will be this one. And I have to find the x and the y. So my point will be 2 and -9. Now our next question is the vertex a minimum or maximum? You can determine if it is a minimum or a maximum by looking at the shape. So if you guys remember, the minimum will be also the low point on the graph when it's open upward. So our vertex is a minimum. Now our next question is, state the axis of symmetry given the graph. The axis of symmetry is a imaginary line that passes through the center of the shape of the object that divides it into two symmetrical pieces. So because we have a parabola, in a parabola we always draw a vertical line to divide the parabola into two similar halves. So I'm going to draw my line in the center of my graph, which is the fifth. Now for the symmetry, the symmetry will be the value where the line is intersecting in the x-axis. If you notice here, the vertical line is intersecting when x is equal to 2. We're done answering this question. Now we're gonna try to solve this one. Notice that this is a different graph, a different quadratic function, parabola. We have to determine now what is the vertex of the graph above. If you guys remember, we had to determine if it is the highest or lowest point. It will be the one that is in the center. So when we look down from our notes, this graph is open downward. So it means that it will have a highest. So our highest point will be in the center. It will be this one. The point that is in the center is 2 and 1. The next question is the vertex a minimum or maximum? So to determine it is a minimum maximum, remember that when it's a minimum is when the graph has the lowest point. When it's a maximum is when it has a highest. And because our graph is open downward, it means that the vertex is the highest, which means that the vertex is a maximum. Our last question is to state the axis symmetry of the given graph. If you guys remember, symmetry is a line that passes through the center of the parabola. So we have to draw a line that divides the parabola into two from the center where it's located the vertex. So the point is the x-coordinate where the vertical line is passing through the x-axis. So x-coordinate, the point will be passing through 2. So x is 2. So the axis symmetry is x equals to 2. Thank you and good luck in the next question.